The trailer for X-Men 97 dropped a few days ago. I checked it out. I must say I was not really all that impressed with it. I don't also I should say I wasn't impressed with it because I didn't really think that it's a good idea or anything like that. I just find the animation style to me looks very disappointing. Some may argue with me on that point. You have every right to do so. But I'm just saying I find it look really kind of disappointing. It does not look anywhere as good as the 90s X-Men animated series, which should really kind of shock you because, you should evolve these things, not take them back. You could have just gone with the same animation style as the 90s X-Men, but just, tweak it up a little bit and you'll be good because it's supposed to be a continuation of that series. Now, to me, certain things in it kind of, said about it. I mean, Storm, they could have just given her the full mohawk look because she did have that in the comics at one point. We also get to see that apparently Jean Grey is pregnant, and I think she and Cyclops are going to be taking time off due to that, and I believe Storm might be taking over as head of the X-Men for a little while. I don't have a problem with that again because Storm was in charge of the X-Men in the comics for some years. No problem there. Okay. Magneto kind of, I don't know, Magneto's whole look in that thing. I mean, yes, he has the 90s costume and all that thing, and he does take over as headmaster of the Xavier X-Men and Academy, which actually did once again happen in the comics. So no whatever that, but to me, Magneto's facial expression and design kind of make it look like, he's some guy that you would expect to jump out of an alleyway in a trench coat and flash you. It just didn't really look right to me again. Again, as I say, this is what it is, but it just kind of didn't seem, the animation for it didn't really work for me. So that's it. Now, I've been worried about X-Men 97 for a while. The information that we've had coming out about it is problematic. We had the showrunner coming out and saying that, the X-Men 97 is going to be based on his experiences as a black gay man. And I was like, who the hell is supposed to care about that? What does your experience as a black gay man have anything to do with X-Men? But no, apparently that's important because if you're not of some different ethnicity than white and queer in some way, you can't work in Hollywood these days. But that apparently is very essential and that he needs to tell people about. Whatever. So, yeah, the trailer dropped. Some people liked it, some people didn't like it. Everybody kind of anxious as to what's going to happen. But already the crap starts because that's the way these things go. Let's get into what they've already done. This article here from Bounding into Comics. X-Men 97 showrunner confirms Disney Plus series will portray Morph as non-binary. Yeah, because nobody asked for that, so clearly that's what you need to do. Even though that's never been any kind of anything whatsoever. Now, the thing about Morph is that Morph kind of died in the first episode of the X-Men animated series, but he didn't really die. He was abducted by Mr. Sinister and he got brainwashed into having a kind of evil personality, but then eventually they ended up getting him back. I always thought Morph was an interesting character that they never really expunged on much when it comes to X-Men. He was never really popular. And then I think about it is that I'll actually get to his comic book based on a little while, but I say in this series you never really got to see it because Mystique is a shapeshifter. She could change it to anybody, anything. Morph could do the same. And we never got to see him really do that unless it was with his evil personality screwing with the X-Men and stuff. But other than that, actually really interesting character, and I would have liked to see them portray more of him in this series. But already once they start the non-binary stuff, you know where that's going. So let's get into more of this here. In the first confirmed change being made to the fan favorite incarnation of Marvel's Merry Band of Mutants, X-Men 97 showrunner Bo DeMaio has revealed that unlike the original series, the upcoming revival will portray the mutant shapeshifter Morph as a non-binary individual, even though there is no such thing as non-binary. But yeah, let's do that. Why not? Alright. This change was first confirmed by DeMaio during a series-centric interview given to Empire magazine for their April 2024 issue, providing brief teases into the approach the series took in writing each of the series' principal mutant castmates. When it came to Morph, the showrunner confirmed to the Empire, as recapped by the outlet's Helen O'Hara, that this is a lighter take on the character who is non-binary and has an interesting buddy relationship with Wolverine. Wolverine and Morph were always buddies in the X-Men series. Now, this is Morph here, right? And you might be wondering why he has pale white skin, bald, and pale eyes when this is how they had him in this series. The thing is, though, that this is actually kind of how he looks in the comics, because his real name is Kevin Sidney, and in the comics, this is considered what he looks like, and he actually calls himself Changeling in the comics. Right? Now, it's okay if you don't really know him too much about that kind of thing, because he's not really a very popular character when it comes to X-Men. He's kind of like a background X-Men character. Like I said, the series could have really done more to bring him out and made him a fan favorite character, but they didn't. But this is kind of how he's supposed to look. However, they've done it here, and then that's what they're doing. And yeah, I look at this. I mean, Storm could have just got a little bit more look there and done if they wanted to do it, but whatever. Plus, they're also changing up the voice cast and thing. The actress who plays Jubilee is voicing somebody else because apparently she went woke as hell. I started talking about how, only some Asian American actress should play Jubilee. Like, I mean, these people don't seem to get it. You're a voice actor, you're a voice actor. But this whole thing about only black actors should play black actors and only Asian actors should play Asian actors, it's kind of ridiculous. Honestly. Really kind of ridiculous. Unsurprisingly, this presents a significant change to the character of Morph, both as originally portrayed in the original Marvel comics and in the original X-Men, the animated series. Yes, because that was never there, but they need to do it. Born Kevin Sidney, the mutant known as Morph, as his name implies, possessed the mutant gift of cellular-level shapeshifting. Though depicted as a through-and-through villain in his comic book form on the small screen, Morph was initially introduced as a proper member of the X-Men in the team's pilot episode, Night of the Sentinels, before being killed in that same episode by a surprise attack carried out by a group of Sentinels. But in typical comic book fashion, Morph's death proved to be anything but, as the mutant is later revealed to not only have been rescued from the attack by none other than Mr. Sinister, but also had an evil personality planted within him by the villain. Now, okay, typically, they do it where people die and actually come back. That one was actually not really one people will see it coming, because when Morph died in the initial episode, it was like, okay, this is something that you don't really see often. But then when he came back, you got to see that he had his mind altered by Mr. Sinister, and he came back as this villain. It was actually really interesting to see how that played out. Really interesting. Last season of X-Men, they had this was a little, wonky, but still. Following a brief stint as a mind-controlled pawn of the leather-clad Englishman, Morph is eventually rescued by his former teammates and brought back into the X-fold, even going on to play a major role in the eventual destruction of the Sentinel-producing Master Mold. And of course, throughout his adventures, both in print and animated, Morph has never been portrayed as considering himself non-binary. Of course not. That means that they need to change it. And if you don't like it, well then, time to attack you. While his ability does allow him to shift into any form, including that of a woman, at the biological level, he always defaulted to his standard appearance as a relatively nondescript human male. And this part is important because it was the same thing with Mystique before they decided to start making changes there again. You understand me? And let's not forget a video that I did not too long ago where it's revealed now that Mystique is actually Nightcrawler's father because she transformed herself into a man and gave it to a lesbian lover good so she could produce a child. Now it's like just weird, especially in the way that they're doing it. It's just weird, but no way to put that here again. But once again, Morph is non-binary, so something that does not exist. Yeah. Alas, while this ham-fisted change is certainly disappointing, it cannot be said that it is wholly unexpected. After all, as stated by DeMaio during a 2023 Marvel livestream event regarding the series, one of his goals with the X-Men 97 was to just get this right and really drill down to what I think the X-Men's always going to be about, which is just, we talk a lot about the dream in social acceptance and its social justice. So great. Another SJW nonsense. It continues on. I think that can sometimes make certain people feel alienated, and for me it's always going to come down to, I think, the X-Men and what we're going to be trying to do with this series is talking about the power of empathy and how it can kind of heal these wounds that turn people against each other. That things like racism and bigotry don't just exist. There's a reason behind it that empathy can kind of help us connect and build those bridges where we can actually say, hey, we are all different, but we have these little things that can connect us, that can still connect us. Again, as I say, when it comes to the X-Men, they've always been the outsiders. That's what people liked about them. They were designed to kind of be the outsiders, and it's what they did. So I don't have a problem in regards to them. Never had a problem with that. Ultimately, how much of a spotlight Marvel will put on Morph's newfound gender identity remains to be seen when X-Men 97 slashes its way onto Disney Plus on March 20th. Yeah. Original cast here, whatever the hell they're planning to do in that after. So yeah, Morph is going to be non-binary because that's apparently supposed to be essential. Is this going to be the only change to X-Men 97? I doubt it. But again, most people are already kind of pissed off about it because when you start out the door with this, like I said, the trailer dropped. I wasn't a big fan of the animation. When you literally come out the door with this whole Morph is going to be non-binary thing, you already start to turn people off because everybody sees the writing on the wall and people are sick and tired of this nonsense. But again, I could be wrong. We will find out. Let me know your thoughts on this in the comments. I have a different opinion. I'd love to hear it. If you like the video, hit that thumbs up. Subscribe if you haven't already. Ring the notification bell to be notified every time I upload a new video. And I shall see you all next time. Take care.